everybody. This is the Cognitive Championship, turn 45 to 48. We're on turn 48 right now, but I'm going to start with turn 45 to give you an update of what's happened lately. Now, I've secretly had a cyborg base near my own homeworld, but unfortunately, this got sort of discovered because the cyborg players, Asha, accidentally laid a minefield here in his own name, which should have made that visible to the Fed and robot players. So this was a pretty big turning point for me. I panicked and I basically told him to send his fire cloud home and thought that maybe I should destroy it just because I was sure that Fed and robot would see it and I would have to prove that no, there wasn't a big invasion fleet of biocides that was about to pop up on their doorstep. So I basically felt a need to ally with Fed because I was pretty sure that Fed was going to see that and was about to invade me right away in retaliation. So I sent him a message and then I said, hey, let's cooperate. I want to, be on your side. And then we came up with this idea that I would send some false information to the cyborg saying that there was nothing at this planet here, when in fact there's a Nova and a Gorby. And then he decided to send his Victorious there, and his Vicky was promptly destroyed. And then, I thought, maybe this would be enough to make Fed think that I was on his side. I also had already given Robot one of my Lizard-class cruisers for the purpose of beginning an invasion of Crystal. I was going to have him build a huge minefield here. So the fact that I was helping helping Fed with this false information and also gave a cloaker to Robot, I figured this may have made them trust me. But even though I expected them to say, hey, what's up with this cyborg minefield we saw in your space last turn, they never sent any message, so that was pretty strange. It's possible that they just never saw it, which would be good, I guess, but it's leaving me a little worried. Like, did they see it and they're just not acting on it? But my best guess right now is that they just didn't notice it, because I'm pretty sure they should have said something, and it seems like they trust me. Anyway, SMN, the leader of Fed, really liked this idea of giving the cyborg and the Klingon the false information, so he suggested we do it again. They were a little bit suspicious, the cyborg and Klingon, so they asked me for a screenshot, which I then photoshopped and gave it to them to reassure them that I hadn't lured them into a trap. But then I did it again the next turn, which I regretted. And right before Fed was about to attack this planet, I warned Cyborg and Klingon that this was going to happen. But unfortunately, Morgans had already gone to bed, and he didn't have time to change his orders, so he lost another Vicky on turn 47. And this is where I got busted, because I did send a bogus screenshot that I had photoshopped saying that there were no Fed ships here at this planet 115. But of course, then the Fed ships showed up here next door in the next turn, and since there was a popper there that was out of fuel, they figured, like, okay, something's up here. So anyway, I came clean. I said, here's what happened, and I also explained that I did this in a moment of panic as a result of the minefield being spotted that Cyborg had laid. Cyborg said he kind of understood why I did it, and he also appreciated that I gave him the warning after I had a change of heart at the last minute. But then this started a long discussion about sort of where this game is going and the fact that Fed is really powerful and looks like he's in the best position to win the game right now. Fed has about 15 carriers, most of them are automas, and they are pretty deadly. And it's pretty difficult for Borg and fascists to take them on. It's basically just not a very good PvP exchange. So they really want me to join their alliance and do direct attacks against Fed instead of just do, sending them mega credits or scouting for them. But I basically explained to them, look, I'm about to attack Crystal, and I don't want a war on two fronts right now, and I think things are pretty good between me and Robot, my southern neighbor right now, who's allied with Fed. He's been sending these carriers away from his system, which makes me feel good. A couple of automas and a golem. So basically I have a peaceful border on my southern front right now, and I want it to stay that way. While I attack Crystal, which I expect will take probably at least 20 turns. But they were, Cyborg and Fascists weren't happy about that, and they were really trying to get me to join, and I think they're a little frustrated and they feel like they can't really win. Which is definitely understandable, but at the same time, I'm trying to think of how I can win. And the best way for me to win, I think, is to attack Crystal, because I can get a lot of planets from them. I think that's the best way I can improve my planet count, even though it's true that I'm not being a team player and helping out Cyborg Fascists as much as I could. So I guess we'll see how that goes. On turn 48 now, I just started my attack on the crystals. Naturally, the crystal player Nerf is not very happy about this. My first move was to get Robot to drop a really large minefield here, and then I moved up some sweepers to this place. I have my first T-Rex there, and I have a cloaker on top of that starbase, and then next turn I'm going to send a Super Star Destroyer to go capture it. I'm fairly optimistic that this will go well, but you always got to be careful with crystals, because unexpected things can happen, and you want to be careful about your fuel supplies and all that. Anyway, I'm surprised that Fed hasn't said anything about this Cyborg base and Cyborg minefield, but that's the way it goes. I'm not really sure what it means. I don't know if he saw it, but he's just not doing anything, or what. So this turn 48, is my first turn that I attacked crystals. So that was, I feel, a momentous decision. There's no turning back now. And basically I've committed myself to that path. And at the same time, by not attacking Fed directly, I'm forcing Cyborg and Robot to deal with them on their own. As far as the other races are concerned, I thought Bird was going to actually side with Cyborg, because there was a fire cloud that was heading north towards Bird's space just a couple turns ago. But then just this turn, I saw this explosion message saying the fire cloud had been destroyed, so I guess that means that Bird had a change of heart and doesn't really want to team up with Cyborg after all. That's too bad, because Cyborg really does need their help against Fed. Bird has Loki immunity, which is super useful to help take out those Lokis that are detecting the fascist D7s, which are preventing clan drop. I've also heard through the grapevine that Rebel is in talks with Cyborg. If that's true, that's really good, because definitely Cyborg needs the help against the Fed carriers. I hope that Rebel does join them. And as for colonies has been pretty radio silent lately. I'm not sure what they're doing. My guess is still that they plan to attack fascist. I think that Fed and Robot have been trying to talk with them lately and trying to recruit them as an ally, but I'm not sure how that's gone. But I assume it's going better than any diplomacy attempts from Cyborg and fascist. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with colonies. My expectation, or my most likely expectation, is that they're going to attack fascist, and that I'm going to end up meeting colonies at some point here. If colonies defeats fascists, then my fleet's going to end up here once I defeat Crystal. So colonies might be my new enemy at that time, because I think I'm really going to want to colonize all these planets up here that look very appealing. The alternative is that I make peace with colonies at that point and then channel my fleets back down here and do an ambush on Robot while he's not expecting it. Maybe knock him out of the game. Lastly, this is the last turn of Evil Empire. He's officially resigned and he's below the fight of fail limit, so all of his ships are going to destruct next turn. He did give away some of them. I think he gave some of them to Fed. He gave this Gorby to Rebel, and I'm not really sure who else got the goods. But Empire did slowly give away his fleet to everybody before he resigned. So Empire's gone. He's the first one to get eliminated this match. We'll see who's next. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. See you guys soon. I'll give you a next update within the week. Ciao, guys.